Namaong Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunnavadi Pasatya Deshitarine. Today we heard how Srila Prabhupada was personally preaching to the public, to the neophyte guests, trying to bring them to the platform of surrendering to Krishna. At that time, nobody had any understanding how to see Srila Prabhupada, how to deal. What is the meaning of spiritual master? In those days, the devotees, or what, I don't know what you can call them, the guests who were aspiring to be devotees, they would listen to Srila Prabhupada's lecture, walk outside and smoke a cigarette. They didn't know that that wasn't all right. And Srila Prabhupada would personally cut the vegetables, cook the prasadam, feed them. Then he'd go back and wash all the dishes. It took many months, even years, before the people could understand who were coming there. Even they thought that they were great yogis by hearing Prabhupada's lessons. They had not the slightest idea what was Srila Prabhupada's position, what was their responsibility. One day Srila Prabhupada was sitting on his Vyasasana and he asked whether they knew what is the position of spiritual master. What is the meaning of initiation into spiritual life? Of course, everybody was very interested. They were amazed. They were enthralled. What is this diksha? What is initiation? What is the spiritual entrance? They are very curious to find out. In fact, one person asked, what is the meaning of this initiation? Then Srila Prabhupada, looking at them, he changed his mannerism and he simply told them that initiation means to accept the spiritual master as you would accept God Himself, to do whatever He says. And he got up and walked out. Left them to think about that one. And he explained, you want to know what is initiation? It means no more free will. Whatever the spiritual master says, that you do. That is initiation. The spiritual master is the Swarup of Krishna. He is the representative of God. One respects him just as one would respect had God Himself come personally present. Prabhupada taught the girls how to wear saris, taught the boys how to wear dhotis. What didn't he teach? How to cook prasad, how to worship deity. Spoon feeding the babies. Who had that kind of patience to come, great gentlemen and aristocratic people from India to come, and the previous people came over, they only wanted to deal with the aristocrats. But when they approached the aristocrats, they said, give up meat, give up drinking, give up intoxication, I'll die. It's not possible to live without these things. This was the reply they got in Europe and England. Prabhupada for months, for over a year, simply, very patiently, how perseveringly, day by day, week by month, this coaxing along, preaching, gradually trying to bring these souls into the fold of Krishna. That type of patience and perseverance is so austere. To get the chance for a big push is so ecstatic. To be able to just run, to be able to jump, to be able to go at full pace. But when we consider how Prabhupada was simply taking practically no advancement, simply if someone came to hear about Krishna, he was happy. Somehow trying to bring them to the standard. Trying to get them to give up meat. To get them to give up intoxication, gambling. Then seeing the situation, giving them spiritual marriage. There's no sannyasi in history who ever gave marriage that we know of. But in America, if people get married, it's a great advancement over what goes on ordinarily. So he had to teach them, what is the meaning of marriage? Nobody even knew what is the Vedic meaning of marriage. Still, many may not have realized the obligation. So, that kind of patience coupled with a tremendous drive I think at the point of that patience, we would have crushed. Years and years together. How many years? Over a year, year and a half, 2 years struggling with hardly any sign of. We would have said that the city is fried. Better try someplace else. After a year, they're still not even giving up smoking. So Prabhupada was so pleased when he saw so many devotees fixed up in Krishna consciousness. Once there was the example, once he had some devotees strong in Krishna consciousness, then from that other people could see, oh, this is how I should be. This is how I should act. Here is the spiritual master, here is disciples. Oh, the disciples are working so hard, they're distributing books, they're preaching. You see. That made it so much easier. Before, Prabhupada had to give association, be the spiritual, had to be everything, all in one. So then when so many disciples were here in the Western world preaching so nicely, then Prabhupada, he didn't have to give so many criticisms here in the West. He would simply encourage.